or participate in the creation of the contest or results tabulation of the voting.
Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on WCCS, and it is time now for another one of our interview segments, and our segments are presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people, and we have a little bit of a problem going on here. We're trying to make sure that the microphones are properly situated, but I think we are okay. And let's go ahead and get things started with our three Indiana County commissioners. Chief of the Commissioners Board, Mike Keith. We also have Shireen Hess and Robin Gorman with us as well. And if you're watching us on, and be sure to watch this as well, because we are streaming on Facebook Live. So good morning, commissioners. How you doing?
Good morning, Josh.
All right. It's always good to see you here. One of the stories that I wanted to touch on, and we touched on this a little bit with the Indiana School Board last night, was the fact that the Pennsylvania spending plan has been passed and is now in effect, and we noticed that Indiana School District would receive a little bit of a bump in funding. But how important is it from the county government perspective to have that finally passed and finally off of everybody's worry list?
Well, I would say it's extremely important. Remember, we're at the county level services that are a drop down of government funding, so particularly more on your court-related side. So your children and youth offices, your domestic relations offices, and anything on the court side relies heavily on some portion of the state funding to flow. All of our offices kept in great contact with us, let us know how they were making preparations, that if there were a delay, they were working with their state offices. So I can't say there were really any big concerns for us on this side. We were concerned about our school districts and other services, obviously, in our community that rely heavily on the state funding and the budget. So the fact that they got it done for us and the residents out here, I call it the boots on the ground. I think it was very good and a good thing that they got it done. And then, of course, Josh, that plays into our budget season because we'll be beginning at the county level to work on all of our directors, departments, and budgets for the county.
Knowing this trio of commissioners, work on next year's budget has already started. It probably started in January of this year, because you take your time and you go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, Mr. Keith.
Yeah, actually, Josh, we did start early this year, and the reason we did is we have right now 8 contracts that are being negotiated for this year's budget, and also along with the inflation that we've been receiving. We've held the taxes, and but again, costs keep on going up, so we have to find a way to restructure or cut something. But in the meantime, to get started early, we've asked our directors this year to do one thing, and that's to bring to the table a different way of how they run their office. And as far as running their office, that could be either bringing in different revenues from a different stream, cutting expenses, but we're asking each one of them to come to the table with a different idea.
And this obviously is going to probably present some new ideas, I would think, Shireen, as far as the budget process goes. Have you gotten a chance to see any of these proposed ideas yet?
Not specifically, but we know our directors are very innovative and very budget conscious, and we all know that a budget is a reflection of priorities. And with the money that has been becoming from the federal level and the state level, we have some nice opportunities to make some really transformational kinds of additions and changes to programs and really focus on outcomes, not just delivering a X, Y, and Z, but how you can really help people become, what they need to be doing in society. And so, yeah, it's always a different. You always learn something new every year during budget, and
all right.
It's fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about the EMS group that is being formed. Mr. Keith, maybe you better start on this one, because this is a topic I think that is very close to your heart, you being a part of the emergency services field yourself, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I'm going on 50 years in the fire service, and I spent 16 years as a medic with Citizens. But
So let's talk about this group. What is this group going to do?
We've hired a consulting legal PR firm out of Eastern Pennsylvania. These consulting firms are very few in between. So with that being said, I've listened to this for years about, the revenue stream coming in and how funds are shorted, and just trying to survive. Mm-hmm. And it's getting to the point where, let's face it, ambulance services are closing every day.
Yeah, we've seen some in Westmoreland County closing.
Exactly. So with that being said, for the last 3 years, I've been working on how we're going to get an authority started. And again, when it comes down to county government, we are not allowed to actually get meddle into that. That's down to the local government's code book. But we finally came to a conclusion. We've actually had all 38 municipalities in a meeting. We've all come to an agreement that, listen, we need to sit at the table. We need to figure it out because I'm tired of hearing about it. Mm-hmm. And, you get the comments that you read and everything. And so we've hired this firm. They're going to come in and they're going to start forming this thing to put it together. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and we know that. But we're all hoping for a very positive result at the end and get this behind us. So once the ambulance service is done and get that going and moving forward, then after that we want to take that same footprint and we want to apply it to the fire service because bottom line is they're right behind the doors of the ambulance service.
Oh, definitely. With the fact that the fire services in many of the areas here in Indiana County, if not all, are volunteer services, and you're seeing a drop in ranks in those areas. So it's a very pressing situation as well, not just to keep up with the service and keep up with the technology, but also have the staff available to do all of this. I want to go to Shireen because you actually mentioned something about the conservation efforts going on in Indiana County. There was a big tour that happened, right?
Yes, the Conservation District recently had their legislative tour, and we were all on that tour, and I think all very impressed. Even though I work a lot with the Conservation District, I don't know their day-to-day, a lot of it, but it's impressive. We started at Hemlock Lake Park, and we saw Quarter Horse Farm, Dom's Quarter Horse Farm, to talk about conservation measures that farmers can do. Mm-hmm. And, people don't realize, but farmers are really the first in line when it comes to environmental benefits. They work hard to keep their soil on their farm and not in the stream, and they work hard on lots of different kinds of grass waterways and rotational grazing and all sorts of things that help the environment. We went to Canoe Township and we saw some road drainage projects, which is very important. And we ended up back at the lake and had a nice conversation with township officials, play a key role in dirt and gravel roads. So, it's not all about hugging the trees and, that kind of thing. It's really hard work and very important that we keep those things going.
And I think you mentioned it as well, highlighting the importance of the farming industry to make sure that the environment does remain in good condition because they are great environmental stewards as well, not only keeping it safe for their own use, but maybe also passing that down to future generations.
Yeah, they love their land, and you won't ever hear them get really loud and obnoxious when it comes to what they need.
Right.
And so we need to advocate for our agricultural community, and we do.
Another great group to advocate for, I think, are the veterans of Indiana County. We're going to have our Veterans Providers Group coming on later this week, but there is another fundraising effort going on to honor our veterans, and Robin, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
There is. Thank you, Josh. So that is our Veterans Wall, where we put up the names on the wall to honor our past veterans or their family members that want to place their name on a brick to honor their loved ones. And we don't have enough left. So our internal staff, our maintenance department, our Veterans Affairs Office, Alan Lockard, with our chairman's leadership in particular, started to build a new wall where we could hold events. So there's a lot of folks that come to the courthouse that want to do proclamations and bring attention to issues. So the wall will act as a place where people can not only memorialize their loved ones and their past veterans and appreciate, but bring people to see the wall and hold events in a very nice, very civil type of environment. So the bricks are for sale. You can contact our Veterans Affairs Office. I believe our Veterans Providers Group, Diane, when you have her on, she'll be able to provide you information. I'm sure she has it everywhere she goes. Mm-hmm. It's just a sheet, and people can fill out information to get their loved one's name on a brick that will be coming. And I'm told we already have have a lot of forms filled out.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah, so we're happy that that's coming about. And I just wanted to make a little cute thing with the conservation tour. Not a lot of people knew this, but my husband was from the area that we were able to go see. And so I had been out there in Smithport and Cherry Tree and that area years back to see some of these projects when they started, and to see them finished. And Shireen, hit it that there's a lot of hard work that goes into things people never see. And it looks like they have been there for years. And to think that, they're controlling waterways and habitats, and with the farmers, their soil and drainage, and those things are so important. I always say no one cares about the land more than your farmer.
Definitely.
So it was really fun.
I hate to say it. We could talk for hours, I think, on a lot of different issues, but we're running up against the top of the hour. But I do want to thank you three for coming in. And please come back anytime, because we like talking with you. We like hearing about what's going on in our state, county government, I should say. Mike Keith, Shireen Hess, Robin Gorman, thank you very much for joining us on Indiana in the Morning. All the best to you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our interview is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Fox News coming up next.